officially the time of year where I start to heavily fantasize about fall, and by that time of year, I mean it is July. Every single summer, when beginning mid-July rolls around, I start wishing it were fall. Like, if you could see my For You page on TikTok and my likes, fall. It is all fall content. That being said, I waste away the end of summer every single year. So for my last and final attempt to romanticize the rest of summer, we're going to be reading the Summer I Turned Pretty series. I also thought this was perfect timing because the first few episodes of season 2 just came out last week. I have not watched them yet because I was waiting to do this reading vlog. This is also going to be my first time reading the actual books. I watched season 1 last summer when it came out. Didn't really think anything of it, didn't really pay attention to it. So I just watched season 1 to like jog my memory, and I definitely thought it was cute. It was definitely fun, definitely had those cute summer beachy vibes. I did think it was a bit cringy at some points, like sometimes the dialogue that they had them use. I don't know. Overall, thought it was cute, wasn't necessarily excited for the next season. However, the marketing that they did for season 2 worked so well. Like, I was eating those trailers up, and I'm so excited to start it now. But first, I'm going to read the books. I'm fully expecting all of the cute YA summer vibes. I'm fully expecting this to push off my fall urges for a little while longer. I'm going to share all my thoughts as I'm reading, so I guess that means this is going to have spoilers. I already know that I am Team Conrad because Jeremiah just doesn't do it for me. He made me cringe so much in the show, so we will see if the books change any of that. I love how I said that this was going to be about me romanticizing my summer, but here I am inside in my bed reading. And I'm 60 pages in. It's cute. They got to the beach house. It's bouncing back and forth between current day, and then she's like recounting memories from like past summers. Like I said, I already know that I'm Team Conrad, and it is from this sentence alone that I know that I'm Team Conrad. He was dark, 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 completely unattainable, unavailable. Sealed the deal for me. And then she's talking about Jeremiah, and she goes, he wasn't embarrassed either. Jeremiah Fisher was too busy having fun to ever be embarrassed. And I just think that as a man, you should be embarrassed sometimes. I'm probably being too much of a Jeremiah hater already, but also he's blonde. Also, obviously Belly radiates like younger sibling energy, and I know that she's supposed to. She keeps talking about how when she was younger, all she ever wanted to do was be just like the guys and be included in everything that they did. And I get that's part of her character development. I get it. But as an older sibling, I'm annoyed. I'm in bed, Margaritaville t-shirt on. I am up to page 100. I have the show playing in the background. I just think it's so funny how in the book, Belly describes the beach house as a regular old beach house. She says it's nothing special, it's worn down, it's lived in, etc. And in the show, it is a literal mansion. I just had that little observation. They should have included the freckle line in the show. I just watched the part where they got to the house and he says that thing about her glasses. In the book, he also says, I think you got a few new ones, he said, tapping me on the nose. He knew how self-conscious I was about my freckles and he still teased me every time. Like, that's so cute. And he doesn't say it in the show. It's better than the glasses line. Let's talk about our thoughts while we drink our coffee. Okay, first of all, I need someone to let me know if I'm being too much of a hater because I literally cannot stand Cameron. I don't know if I'm just making things up, but he is giving me the worst vibes that I did not get from him in the show. Even from his first interaction with Belly, he is just giving know-it-all vibes. The Latin convention, she's like, oh, I got second. He's like, yeah, well, I got first. And then when he talks about like not drinking or smoking or being vegetarian, he says things like, I don't believe in polluting your body with unnatural stuff. And then when they ask him why he doesn't eat meat, he goes, I'm morally opposed to eating animals. Like, that's just giving me the worst, pretentious, mightier, like, holier than thou, like I think I'm better than everyone else. It's giving alpha male. My
body is a temple, and I cannot poison my body with such things.
Like, I don't know, he's just reminding me of a specific type of man, a specific type of boy, and it's triggering the fight or flight a tiny bit. I'm being dramatic, but still. Each time he says certain things like this, Belly like gets a little bit insecure, which I know is in part just her being like a teenage girl feeling like she has to act a certain way to like please people. She's like, I was glad I hadn't been drinking. I didn't want him to think badly of me. I wanted him to think I was cool. The kind of girl who didn't care what other people thought, which is like, babe, we're contradicting ourselves right there. I don't know, he's just annoying me quite a bit. And in the show, he was fine. Like in the show, he was low-key a little bit irrelevant. The book is so much more about Belly and Cam. Honestly, not that much is even happening in the book. And they add so much in the show, like so many different little events, like the whole Deb ball, volleyball tournament, Belly's drunk little 4th of July shenanigans. Like they add so many things to the show that's not in the book. And I think if I hadn't watched the show beforehand, I think I'd be a little bit bored because it's like, what is even really happening here? But I'm still persisting because I do like the vibes. I do like the vibes of being young and having a crush. Been sitting in here reading for a couple minutes. Thought it would be more relaxing than it actually is, but I just got to the part where Taylor wants them to play Truth or Dare, and she's like, don't be so gay. And she's like trying to get people to play, and she goes, Conrad, you're being very lame. Play Truth or Dare with us. He ignored her and turned the volume on the TV up louder. Then he pretended to mute her with the remote, which made me laugh out loud. That's a bit iconic of Conrad, if I do have to say. In the book, there's nothing redeemable really about Taylor and Belly's friendship. They straight up just don't like each other. All Belly talks about are the toxic moments between them and how Taylor is so obsessed with male attention, which again, I get it at that age. That's what happens. But I am glad in the show that they gave them some like redeemable nice moments. So Taylor and Steven kiss. It is like so much more dramatic in the book than it is in the show. Like in the show, they were at the party, Belly walks in on them in one of the rooms, and it's like you can just write that off as like being at a party and being drunk, whatever. In the book, she finds them on the beach watching the sunrise, kissing. I feel like that's so much more serious than like a party kiss. And then Belly was going for Taylor's throat in their little fight afterwards. Like she calls her a slut. Like Belly was not playing. I also think it is so weird when girls, I get this is a little bit different because it's like, okay, you're my best friend and your brother. Sisters who hate on every single girl that their brother gets involved with, it's such weird vibes. Like, I know that's not necessarily what's happening here, but like, if you are mean to every girlfriend your brother has, or if you just like don't approve or you hate every single girl that your brother is with as a sister, like that very much gives I'm in love with my brother vibes. I'm not saying that's what's happening here, but that's just, it made me think of that. And then there are people who are like, oh, do people actually like Conrad? Like, he's just mean and moody and brooding and he's a douchebag. This cute little scene where they're all like dancing. She's talking about the CDs and the music that they used to play, and then Susanna tells Conrad to dance with Belly, and he like knows the dance that they're doing and he's teaching her. She's like, how do you learn this? He's like, my mom taught both of us. Like, that is giving just like cute sweetheart, like down to earth vibes. That's what we're talking about. Okay, Kay, I'm saying, oh, I don't believe in polluting my body with unnatural stuff. And then he's over here eating fruit roll-ups. Spoke too soon. On the same page, he goes, white sugar is evil. There it is. There it is, that like, I am a specimen and I cannot let things pollute my body. I don't like it. I just finished the first book. Honestly, I feel a little underwhelmed. Like, I think I like the show better. I'm not saying it was bad by any means. Like, I'd probably rate it a 3.5. Yeah, I don't know. Just based on the show, I was expecting more out of this. So Jeremiah basically confesses his love for Belly, and she's like, no thank you, and then goes and tells Conrad that she loves him, and then he's kind of like, no thank you. And then the boys do get into that fight. It's a lot more dramatic in the show because it happens in the middle of like the dead ball, but in the book they're just fighting on the front porch. And then we figure out that Susanna is sick again with the cancer. Belly didn't know. It's really sad. Still, I'm team Conrad at the end of this book because it does end with him driving like 5 hours to go visit her during the winter. Overall, slightly underwhelmed. It's definitely cute, summer, nostalgic. I do wish I was going to the beach right now, but I'm not. So I do have to settle for my backyard. So we are going to move to the second book. I just started the second book. Back in my spot, not outside. We're not romanticizing anything right now. Romanticizing my summer is going great. I just started the second book, and it is like she has this like sweet memory of her and Conrad, but it was like a daydream. I wasn't in Cousins. This is the second page of the book. I wasn't in Cousins. Conrad and I weren't together, and Susanna was dead. Oh, I didn't know she died that fast. It really just killed her like that fast. I wasn't expecting it to happen that fast. I'm 40 pages in, and literally everything has just fallen apart. The ending of the book was cute. Her and Conrad were like together doing their little thing. Taylor literally still sucks. She basically told Belly like, get over it, babe. Like, Susanna was her second mother. And I just got to the funeral part where she finds Conrad in the basement with another girl. And I know it's his mother's funeral. I know that there are bigger things to be upset about. But if I were Belly, I would have been sick. I would have been sick walking in on that. Yeah, the fun, happy, cute summer vibes are over. It is now more depression, my mother died, life will never be the same vibes. And I did not know that that's what I was getting into. And just the way that Belly like recounted the whole prom situation, I really felt it. I really felt the heartbreak of a teenage girl. It literally took me back to high school and feeling sad over stupid boys, which as a 23-year-old woman, I'm a 23-year-old girl, let's be real. I did not need to re-experience any of that. Okay, the part where they go back to Cousins in the winter, my heart, that is so cute. And Belly calls Conrad, she says, that's because you're cold-hearted. And he goes, for everyone else maybe, but not for you. And that's why, folks, that's why we're team Conrad. And then he proceeds to call her hot chocolate Dusty. So, like, I'm sorry, but Conrad is so unironically funny, and Jeremiah just tries too hard to be funny. Currently romanticizing the summer by being in bed while it is still light outside. Honestly, I love it though. I love being in bed when it's still light out. I'm still on book 2. I'm probably about halfway through. I still have season 1 playing in the background. And I just want to say, I love that we see so much more of the mom's relationship in the show, because in the book, we really don't get those little moments between the moms. Like, we're only ever told about the moms from Belly's perspective, and she obviously like doesn't like her mom in the first book. Who's cutting the grass at 8 o'clock at night? That actually might be my own father. As I was saying, they added so much more in the show when it comes to the mom's relationship, like when they go to the bar together, when they're getting high together. We just get to see the moms being girls. And I love that for them, and I think it's really cute and wholesome. So we are up to, I think, day 3 of reading these books. Honestly, I'm moving slowly because I am also reading other books in the midst of all of this. Right now, I'm gonna go sit outside in the sunshine and actually take advantage of the summer, like I said I was going to, instead of rotting in my bedroom. I was not expecting this to be so emotional. Everyone talks about this series as like fun, happy summer vibes, and the first book does have that. This book is getting to me a bit. Like, this one is more so about Belly growing up and realizing that things are changing, and like this quote, there was something so comforting and right about coming out of the pool wet and your mom putting a towel around your shoulders like a cape. 8 was just 8, like the age. Hot dogs, peanut butter, mosquito bites, and splinters. Bikes and boogie boards, tangled hair, sunburned shoulders, Judy Bloom in bed by 9:30. And it's like, I don't want to grow up. I want to be a little girl again. And then there's another, like the first book, she was very much like not really appreciative of her parents. And in this one, she's realizing a whole lot more like their value. Because I mean, everyone does that as they get older. She says, I was glad he was my dad and not Mr. Fisher. He never would have yelled or cussed at me or gotten mad about spilled Kool-Aid. He wasn't that kind of man. I'd never appreciated enough just what kind of man he was. It's just making me emotional because I am growing up and I don't want to. These bangs are so severe right now. I came back inside to rot. I have maybe, not even, I have a singular chapter left. So much has gone down. I think I'm finally starting to understand Team Jeremiah. I'm not on it, but I am starting to understand it. I think it's just because we have his point of view and they just had like a real moment. Like they just kissed, Conrad saw it. Things have gotten very messy. I think I'm gonna do a little reverse thing though, because usually when people make videos or vlogs about series, they will do non-spoilers for the first book and then the rest of the books are spoilers. But I think I'm gonna reverse that, just because if they are doing like a season per book, then we're only up to the events of this book. A couple of years later, I think I liked this better than the first one. I don't know how to feel right now. Laurel was slaying throughout this entire book. I don't think it's going to be in the show because if I'm correct from what I've seen, Mr. Fisher is not the one selling the house. It's Susanna's sister. In the book, there is a scene where they call Mr. Fisher to the house and Laurel's there and she basically looks at him and says, "Sit your ass down, you are not selling this house," and all the kids are amazed by her. It is a total slay moment, but I don't think we're going to be able to see it because they changed it. I don't know, the second book has changed things for me as well. When I read the first book, I was like, okay, this is cute, like it's kind of I gave it a 3 on Goodreads. I'm liking the show better. I'm not really invested in this series. I think I'm only interested in it because of the show, but this book might have changed those things. I really hope, I mean, I have the third book right in front of me, but I really hope it is Conrad's point of view, because in this one we get Belly's point of view and then it'll switch to Jeremiah's point of view. So I really hope in this one we get Conrad, or the next one we get Conrad's point of view. Oh my gosh, this is exciting. Now I get to start season 2. I'm excited. Okay. Never mind. I take back every single thing I said about Jeremiah. Never mind. We are solidly on Team Conrad. I understand nothing about Team Jeremiah anymore. Jenny. That actually just happened? That was a wild decision, Jenny. I'm mad at that. We get Conrad's point of view. I officially finished book 3 this morning. I think I'm just going to talk about the series as a whole for the most part. Also, I watched the first 3 episodes of season 2 last night. Overall, I'm going to give the entire series a 3.5, which is not bad. I did not think this was bad at all. A 3.5 is just what feels appropriate. Like, this is a little YA series. It does what it is set out to do. It is not a great work of literature. Then again, I don't think I've read any great works of literature, but it does what it needs to do. I will say it was not what I expected, especially the third book. The direction that the third book took this series in, I was very caught off guard, especially from just watching the show, because I had watched season 1 before I read any of these books. Based off of what I watched in season 1, I would not have expected that the third book goes the way it goes. In my opinion, the show does the books so much justice. There are a lot of changes, but at the same time, the essence is still the same. Like, they keep the essence of each book. I also keep forgetting that these came out in like the early 2010s, and I think the show revamps them so well. I feel like the show is if Jenny Han had written the books today, because I know that she is like very heavily involved in the show. Like, this is definitely a case where I feel like the adaptation enhances and like truly brings the books to life, and I think I like the show more than I liked the books. and I'm already liking season 2 so much better than season 1. The difference between Taylor in the books and Taylor in the show is astronomical, and I'm actually very glad that they made her a good friend in the show, because if they had kept her true to the books, that girl would be getting death threats. Yeah, I don't know. I was expecting like lighthearted, happy, fun summertime vibes, because that is how everyone talks about this series. Like, this does have that, but I feel like it's so much more surface level than people talk about. I don't know, I just was not expecting it to hit me the way that it did. Not that it like made me feel so profound, it's just like I wasn't really expecting it to hit me at all, and it did. And that might just because I am in a period of my life where I'm constantly in my feelings about growing up and not wanting to let go of my childhood. So maybe that's just me, but this definitely like tugged on my heartstrings a little bit and took me back to being a teenage girl. I'm glad that I finally read the books, because I feel like it's gonna make watching the show so much more fun. And I am a Jenny Han stan. Like, I read To All the Boys I Loved Before. I didn't read any of the other ones. She does the job. Miss Jenny does the job. She knows how to write YA fiction. And every now and then, that is exactly what I need in my life. And we're still Team Conrad. I was Team Conrad all the way through. But I guess that's all for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed. Let me know whose team you're on. And there is a right answer. And let me know your thoughts on the show. So yeah, hope you enjoyed. Hope you stick around. And I'll see you in the next one.